Venezianico is an Italian micro brand set up by two brothers, and they use the beautiful city of Venice as inspiration for their watch designs, and they like to use some rather interesting and unusual materials in their watches like Amazon stone, tungsten, meteorite, forged carbon, Aventurine, and they recently produced a watch and the dial was painted with Musu black, a Japanese paint which absorbs over 90% of light. Anyway, I don't have that watch to show you today. I've got one of their best sellers, and it is gorgeous. And here it is, one of their best selling watches. And I really hope I've been able to film this in a way where you can truly appreciate how it looks and, well, just how much that dial pops. And that bezel insert is really unusual because it is polished tungsten, so it's almost mirror-like. It's a sort of dark grey, silvery colour. The whole watch just pops and yeah, just shines. It's a 200-meter diver, but I said in the unboxing, I think it's quite a dressy diver. Yes, you could treat it as a proper tool watch, and tungsten in particular, that bezel insert, well, you're going to do pretty well to damage that because tungsten is incredibly strong. It's also got sapphire crystal. So, yeah, it's going to be a pretty durable watch, but there are just lots and lots of beautifully polished touches and accents to this watch. The top of the lugs look polished. You've got polished center links on the bracelet. Polished elements to the bezel as well, the outer edge of the bezel. So yeah, I wouldn't class this as a proper tool watch, but it is, you know, a functioning dive watch. Unidirectional 120 click divers bezel action. Let's have a little play with the bezel. Feels nice and tight, no movement, no wobble. Feels very, very smooth. Have a listen to the clicks. Yeah, they feel nice. They sound nice. Yeah, the bezel action is very nice and the alignment looks pretty good as well. So yeah, if you wanted to take this diving or use it as a bit of a tool watch, I'm sure you could. I personally, though, wouldn't. Because look at it. It is gorgeous. Now, this brand appears to be a fairly premium micro brand. They make watches with a variety of movements inside them, and the packaging was pretty impressive. The overall package was impressive. I have filmed and posted an unboxing video for this watch. So if you want to know a little bit more about the brand and you want to see the packaging, I'll put a link to that in the video description. But yeah, $700, under $800. It houses the SW200, so a higher beat automatic movement, a fairly premium movement, used quite regularly by micro brands. They do use other movements in their watches, including the NH35, so you will find more affordable watches than this on their websites, but yeah, I can totally see why this is one of their best selling watches. That color combination of the bezel and the dial, the SW200, the fact that it's only a few hundred, maybe $250 more than some of their NH35 powered watches, I think means it represents pretty good value for money when you consider what's gone into making this watch, the overall package, and the price of some of their NH35 powered watches. And I love the fact that they're using all these different materials. They're not the first brand to use these materials, but they seem to be using more of them, more of the time than any other brand that I've ever seen. I mean, their portfolio of watches on their website is just full of watches and models with unusual materials in them. And yeah, that's pretty cool. And the designs are pretty good. I like the way it looks. It's well proportioned. It is quite a big, chunky diver, and tungsten is quite heavy. I don't know how much extra weight is being added to the watch as a result of this particular bezel insert, but it feels like a fairly sturdy, substantial watch. Now, one thing I did notice after I filmed the unboxing video was the lack of any sort of micro adjustment. There's no smaller links in this bracelet, and it has a butterfly clasp. So I was a little bit concerned. You know, you're paying this sort of money for a watch like this and you want to get it to fit right. So I messaged them and they came back to me pointing out that there is a smaller link for this bracelet available on their website. So there is an option to have an additional smaller link. I mean, these aren't full length links anyway. They're not 10mm links. Well, let me measure it. It is a 7.5mm link, and quite often links in bracelets like this will be 10mm links. So you are more likely to get a good fit with this bracelet than quite a lot of other bracelets. But I still think a bracelet like this should have a smaller link in it, or some sort of ability to adjust it to a finer level. And yeah, providing an extra link that you've got to pay a little bit extra for is a solution. I did go back to them and say, ooh, paying extra for that link. First time I've ever seen that before, and they appreciated the feedback. I suspect it's not going to change anything. I suspect they will continue to offer that additional link separately to the watch, but yeah, at least it's available. Right, let's run through a few more specifications. So I've already said 200 meters of water resistance. It's a screwed down case back look. You've got screws in it. It's not a screw down case back, but of course the crown is a screw down crown signed with the Venezianico logo. Beautiful bracelet. Really like the bracelet. Solid end links look. Solid links, a very nicely finished bracelet. Logo on the outer shell of, well, it's not really the outer shell, is it? It's part of the clasp. And the advantage of having this butterfly clasp on a watch like this, especially when you have such a nice bracelet, is you get beautiful continuation of the links all the way around. 120 click unidirectional bezel. Loom on this watch, I'll show you the loom degrading at the end of the video. Applied indices look 316L stainless steel. It's, yeah, good looking watch. I can't get over the colors. Honestly, the colors are incredible, and the finishing definitely matches the price tag. It's been finished to a very high standard. I mean, just look how reflective that bezel insert is. The polished surfaces on the bracelet and on top of the lugs seem to be very smooth, very bright, nicely done. The outside of the bezel has been finished very nicely. Crown guards look to be nice and crisp, and the brushing on the side of the case is a beautiful satin brushing. Hands have been finished very nicely as well. All the applied indices seem to be nice and straight and beautifully crisp, along with the print as well, and the logo is applied. Sapphire crystal with AR coating. Yeah, it's got it all, almost. And here it is then on my roughly average sized wrist. Just look at this thing. I love the color of that dial, and I am fascinated by that tungsten bezel insert. It's the first time I think I've ever seen a bezel insert like it. It almost looks like a mirror. It's really strange. Something else I haven't mentioned actually that I also really like is the taper on the bracelet. A lot of the links contribute towards the taper. So I think it's only the removable links that essentially have a consistent width. So yeah, the bracelet tapers very gradually, and there's not a huge amount of weight in the bracelet, and it is a fairly, well, I'd say slightly larger than average diver. Considering it's only a 200 meter diver, and tungsten does seem to be a fairly heavy material, I believe. So, a touch top heavy maybe, but still very comfortable. And I just think it looks fantastic. Just look at it. Right, let me know what you think of this watch in the comments section, and please head over to their website via the link in the video description. It's not an affiliate link. I've borrowed this watch, so yeah, this watch is going back, but please take a look at their website and let me know which of their watches you would like to see on this channel in the future. I'm seriously considering getting that watch in with the super black dial. That has proven to be, I think, their best seller. So yeah, it might be nice to get my hands on that, and we'll see just how black Musu Black really is. Right, guys, don't forget to comment, subscribe, and you'll see me again very soon. Cheers, guys.